Brandt Norton, and I'm a community outreach coordinator for Behavioral Wellness and Recovery. It's a local drug and alcohol treatment center. And I just want to thank you representatives for being here today and giving us the opportunity to speak. And thanks to Jackie. You're an amazing human being, and I appreciate your strength in turning a tragedy into something, what you're doing now, because there's a lot of people who do not want to speak about addiction. They don't want to talk about the tragedies, the families that are destroyed, and I think it's really important that we have people like you. We probably need a million more just like you. But I'm here today because I'm more of the action phase of the program, I guess you could say. I work directly with families, with individuals that are seeking recovery. Professionally, I've been working in the field of addiction for the past 6 years. Personally, I'm a person in long-term recovery. And what that means to me is that I haven't had a drink or a drug since April 27th, 2010. For the past 7 years, God willing, if I make it to the end of the month. And that's an amazing thing to me, because thank you. Thank you very much. Because I was just like one of these statistics that we heard about today. Like, I could not stop using drugs or alcohol, and today I'm sitting here in front of you, and do I look like a heroin addict to you? I don't think I do, and just like a lot of people have suggested earlier, like, it does not discriminate. It doesn't care where you come from. I come from a good family. I'm a local guy. I was raised with principles. And my story is very generic, because it was just like it was described. I found prescription drugs when I was 12 years old. By the age of 20, I was a full-blown heroin addict. I don't know what was different about my story, but it's just, because some people, it happens to them, some people it doesn't. Some people experiment and they don't ever become addicted. Some people do. I feel like there's a lot of different factors that could be addressed to point to the root causes of addiction, but I digress a little bit. In April 2010, I finally was beaten down enough that I asked for help. And I went, and it wasn't my first time in treatment, so I appreciate all the people in the world that don't give up on us, because we do need the love and support and compassion. That's what we need. We don't need punishment. We punish ourselves enough. We have enough guilt, shame, and remorse, and we don't need any more of that. Because it's not helpful. But I was in my mom's kitchen, and I said the most honest prayer that I ever said in my life. I said, I need help. And thank God that she didn't give up on me, because she took me to treatment that day. And to touch on what Jackie was talking about, after 2 weeks in treatment, I was doing well, and the insurance company arbitrarily decided that I had enough treatment. So there's somebody on a phone somewhere, maybe a million miles away, who said, you're good to go. Didn't know anything about me, looked at a piece of paper maybe, heard 5 minutes from my clinician, said, you don't need more treatment. So what were my options? My options were I could go back home. Well, guess what? I wasn't welcome, because of my addiction. I burned a lot of bridges, go figure. I wasn't welcome around my family, wasn't welcome around my friends. I lost innumerable jobs. My girlfriend didn't want anything to do with me. So where was I to go? They said, well, you can go to a recovery house in Philadelphia. We just heard the district attorney say that Philadelphia is one of the hubs of heroin distribution. So obviously that wasn't a good choice for me either. Luckily, I had enough of a rational mind that I knew I needed something further than that. So they finally said, well, there is another option, and it's called extended care. And you can go to a facility out of state and get yourself some more treatment. And luckily, I made a good decision, and I decided to do that. And I entered into a facility out of state, 1,200 miles away, full of fear, and did another 30 days of treatment. That really, during that time, giving me that extra time, that extra 30 days, was so valuable. And I had a good private insurance policy, so there was no reason why I should have gotten cut off at the other facility, but thank God there was other options out there for people to utilize. I did 30 days in a treatment facility, and then I was convinced that I needed more time, and I agreed to go to a long-term sober living environment, community, and it worked. I've been sober ever since that time period. And that's what I've seen work for a lot of individuals who have been in my same shoes. They do as much detox residential time as they can. They do extended care as much as they can. and go on to long-term sober living. You know, it's not going to be fixed in a week of treatment. There's a local provider in this county whose average length of stay is 14 days. Okay, the first 7 days you're in detox. They're giving you Suboxone. You still have drugs in your system. So you're telling me another week is all I need to go do outpatient and live at home where I may or may not be welcome, or go to a recovery house? So there's this cycle of relapse, and it needs to be broken. That's, you know, to fast forward a little bit, I lived out of state for 5 years, and I felt that I was strong enough to move back home, because what we learn in recovery is that you can, if you really do embrace recovery, you can go anywhere and do anything. Like, it does not matter, you know, where you're living or what you're doing, as long as that you're firmly grounded in recovery. There's the sky's the limit. And let me tell you, the people I've met in recovery are the most amazing individuals. You know, they're very smart, they're talented. They definitely didn't choose this life of addiction. And you know, there are people that pump your gas. There are people that check you out at the grocery store. They're lawyers. They're doctors. They're all amazing individuals. So anything can happen as long as somebody's willing to get the help that they need. Now, you know, why I came back to Pennsylvania is I had my family is from here. Obviously, I grew up in media, like I said, and I wanted to be a part of something. When I heard about this program in Westchester called Behavioral Wellness and Recovery, I found out that it was an extended care treatment, just like one I went to out of state. That wasn't available at the time when I was going through my struggles. So I wanted to come back and be a part of the community and help build up the community where I caused a lot of destruction, to be perfectly honest. And also create an environment for the future generations that, hey, like there is resources available. I have a little nephew, baby Rowan, who he's gonna grow up, and I don't want him to have the same experiences that I did. So to come back here and be a part of this community and to be a resource and a guiding light for individuals that need help. Recovery is possible, and it's available to anyone and everyone. And what I've seen is that there needs to be better communication between providers. I don't see, and that's not, and I don't just mean like medical providers or other treatment facilities. It needs to start with the law enforcement, you know, from when somebody gets administered naloxone, you know, there's no reason why we shouldn't have like a mobile crisis unit for recovery who can come out to the scene and right there with first responders and be able to talk to a person right away. Because in my experience, when I was going through my issues, you know, I would change my mind in an instant. So one day I might want to get sober, the next day I might not, because it is a brain disease. You know, it's chronic, progressive, and fatal, and it will result in jails, institutions, and death if it's not treated appropriately. So we need to take more initiative on the front end, is what I'm seeing. Being a local provider, I've personally have experienced pushback from other providers. I've walked into places and been open, honest, willing, ready to help, and they said, we're good. We don't need your help. And I'm offering this for free too, which blows my mind. Like, I'm not asking for funding or anything like that. I'm just like, hey, I'm here to help. I'll talk to anyone that wants to seek recovery. I don't care what the situation is. So that's why I love our program, because it can be an initial treatment. It can be an extended care. We're getting away from this whole 28-day model. I don't know where that came from. I think it was from the movies or something. But our initial treatment is 42 days. We focus, it's a small facility, you know, we're hoping to expand. We've only been around 2 years. But we focus on not just the individual, but the entire family. So when clients admit to our facility, their family has to engage in our treatment program as well. So we're doing multi-family and individual family counseling with our clients' families in hopes to get everyone on board, because we know that the statistics do show that when there's more people in their support system supporting recovery, the better chance they're going to actually have at maintaining sobriety. And we also know that longer treatment is going to also dictate success. So this 14 day stay, this 21-day stay is not enough for anybody. Another issue that I've come across that I just wanted to bring to your attention is we're in Chester County, and there's maybe 2-3 recovery houses in Chester County. There's a mentality in this county of not in my backyard. We don't have a problem here, and you know, I'm telling you, this is true, and it needs to change. You know, there's zoning laws, there's discrimination against addicts and alcoholics who want to live here, want to get sober here, and they can and will be valuable members of this community if we let them, and we are able to show them, you know, show the community that, you know, we're better than the college students, to be honest, when we're sober. You know, it's true. Like, I went to school at Westchester, and you know, recently I walked into the counseling department, and they kind of said, you know, we don't really have a huge problem here on our campus. And I said, and I reminded them that, hey, you know, I was a student here, and yeah, you do. So, you know, that's one thing that I've seen is a lot of our clients at our facility, we want to keep them, you know, in our net. We want to keep them around, but we don't have housing or support and a supportive environment to keep them in this county so that they can remain sober and have the support services that they need to recover. Just to reiterate, you know, if you ever come across somebody that is in recovery, I want you guys to understand that you're talking to a miracle, because left to my own devices, I should be dead. There's no reason why I should be sitting up here in front of you, in front of this panel, and speaking to you individuals, because there was no good reason why I wouldn't be another statistic. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandt. We appreciate your candor.